What is up, Vapesters? I'm your host, Michael Cobb, and welcome to a brand new and exciting installment, or rather, full installment of the Visual Vapor Reviews. We're going to be doing something really special today, and I hope you all like it because it's been a while in coming, and it's about darn time I got to it. So I'm still vaping the flavor from the earlier video today, which is the beautiful and wonderful flavor of Zebra Stripe Bubblegum Handmade DIY Juice. But that's not what we're going to be focusing on today. Today we're going to be focusing on the Victory RDA. Now you guys have all seen me review this thing before. It's a really easy to build beginner vape tank. And it's just one of the best things you can get when just starting to get into rebuildables. Now, in a ranking of quality, well, not quality so, per se, but in a ranking of how good it is in comparison to, sorry, drying the thing off, I just cleaned it. In a comparison of how good it is to quality and flavor, I would have to give it out of between from 1 to 10, 10 being the best and woohoo, and 1 being meh, whatever, not the best. I'd give it a 4 or 5. Pretty good, because it's a very nice and very good RDA, but it doesn't have the deepest of juice wells in comparison to my other RDAs. So it's about time to show you guys what is on this thing. So, in general, the Victory RDA is sorry guys, kind of lost it there. What it is that the Victory RDA is a velocity style build deck which means that it has 2 posts. Hello, iJoy. Let's lock this up so I'm not firing it while I'm working here, because we really don't want that. So what it is, it's a velocity style deck, which means it has 2 posts and 4 screws, 2 on either side. That means you put your build in diagonally, so the positive would go on the bottom and the negative would go on the top, or vice versa on either side. So it's a really simple thing. This has a really nice fill hole. You'll see that right there, how it has 2 little holes underneath. And it has this little piece, which is your airflow control, which goes on the sides here. Now, this is a way to fill it so you don't have to drip on it or take the entire thing off. Me, I'm just very, very lazy, and, well, not lazy. I don't like to take the top cap off. I just take the entire top off altogether. And of course, we've got our 510 wide bore drip tip, and I'm going to bring you guys down and dirty so I can show you how this works on its own. So we've got some we've got coils in it that I built recently a while ago, and they were my first parallel coil build. They weren't my favorite, but either way, let's bring it down and dirty so I can show you guys what it looks like. Sorry guys, there we go. Alright, let's move this stand out the way so I have some working room. Okay, so what we got here is a 0.26 ohm build. That means it's a really, really low build, and it can run very low wattages. So this thing is set at just 15 watts right now. And what you'll notice is I'm turning it to from auto watt, what it was before. Take a look at this thing when it fires up from where it was before. Just 15 watts, and it's not even getting all that hot. And there's a reason for that. That's because it's at too low of a wattage. So I'm going to turn it up to 45.5. Now you'll really see it start to heat up. And the reason it's so uneven is because the build I had in here is a parallel coil build, and I just didn't really put the spacing right. So I'm going to take my rings off. These are magnetic hematite rings. My fiance got them for me a while ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with my Allen wrench, and we're just going to get these coils out of here. We're going to be doing a micro coil build today and see how well it works. So I'm just taking out these 2 right here. I'm going to make sure that there's enough space for what I'm doing without taking out the grub screws all the way, because I really don't want to do that if I can help it. I don't want the grub screws coming out. I just want enough room here to see everything, so to speak. There we go. That's 3. Now for the 4th one. The 4th one is always my last minute one. I always do this the bottom one as my 4th. And there's a reason behind that, but we're not going to go into it. Okay, so I'm going to fire this up real quick. Hello, iJoy. Hello, iJoy. Lock the device. Now, I just locked it for a good reason because I'm going to be taking these coils right out. There we go. Parallel coil 1, complete and utter garbage. Parallel coil attempt 1, second version, useless and outmoded. Alright, so we got that off now. We're going to be, so let's get into the tools we're going to be using for today's build. We're going to be doing micro, not macro. Micro means exceptionally tiny, and we're going to need, so of course, your Victory RDA, Victory style deck, really simple. Going to need your top pieces, of course, that's off to the side. Gonna need a super tiny micro screwdriver. Gonna use our 26 gauge Kenthal 100-foot wire. Gonna need some flat grips, some scissors, of course, some wire snips, and that's about. And of course, very last but not least, organic Japanese cotton balls. All right, so let's get into building this beauty. We're going to do the simplest build I can think of right now for this because I want an even, easy wrap, but I don't want it to be too easy. So we're going to take some of the excess wire from our last build, and I'm just going to start by giving it a nice 6 wrap build. 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Now I'm going to try and push these back together so that I have no space. I'm going to use this to kind of help me out here. There we go. Nice even 6 wrap. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my wire snips and I'm just going to trim it ever so slightly shorter than the positive lead. There we go. Now we're going to see how well this thing sits on here. Okay, so we've got this piece right here. I'm going to find my positive and negative leads. I'm just going to slide it through real quick. Really simple like. And now I'm going to take my screwdriver, make sure that it comes just about, not exactly, but just about the exact length I want, which typically for me is right over the coil head. I mean, not the coil head, messing me up. No, I typically like it right above the airflow. Gives me the best flavor possible every time. And like I said before, now with this, with a velocity style deck, I don't have to worry about which leads I'm covering first. I'm clamping down first, so now I can come over here, make sure this stays nice and straight while I pull this through. Try and give that a little more of an even spacing. Because whatever you do, you don't want the coil touching this the outer deck and the outside of it. So it doesn't matter if I have I'm turning it right now so I can kind of see what I'm doing. Once I clamp it down, I can adjust the coil however I want. So I'm just gonna put the screwdriver in there and leave it for a second. Oops, drop the Allen wrench. Dummy. And I'm just going to install this coil first because I just want to see how well this is gonna really sit for right now. There we go. Looks like she's making very strong connections. And now I'm dropping my Allen wrench once again because I'm dumb. I'm being really dumb with this. Now I'm just gonna lift it a little bit over the airflow. Adjust it so it's level. There we go, a 0.51 so far. That's very promising. Alright, now I can come in here and snip my leads as close to the deck as possible, as always. Just a nice scratch, there we go. And then, of course, second verse, same as the first. Now we still got 2 open screw holes. Gotta make sure that's not gonna be touching the outer wall. And by the looks of things, she's not even gonna come close, so. Let's get a look-see down at that coil. Nope, she's not gonna touch it. We're good. Although, for safety's sake, I really do think I should push it in a little bit more. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to loosen this up just a little bit because it's making me nervous. And when in doubt with an RDA, always go with your gut feeling. Always, no matter what it is. If you think for even a second that coil is going to touch your outer wall, don't hesitate. Don't go with preference. Don't even stop to worry. Just do it. Because one wrong move and you are facing a short out that you really didn't want. So, fair warning, guys. Okay. Now that I'm confident that that's far enough away from the actual deck, I'm going to just tighten this down again. There we go. I'm just going to slowly push it ever so slightly. There we go. Okay, that's just where I want it. She's slightly over the airflow, but not too much. There we go. Okay. Now I'm just going to clamp that ever so slightly together. There we go. Alright, so look at that microcoil. That is a very, very neat microcoil. Very simple, very easy, very neat. Alright, so now we're going to come in with the extra, because I used my previous wire to build that, so I wasn't wasting. Now I'm going to come in here with this stuff, my original stock. Just going to come and put that back together. Now that I've got the extra, put all the excess back. Don't worry too much about what you have left over. It's not that big of a deal if you have a lot left over. It's better to have a lot left over than to have not enough. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Do a half wrap to make sure it stays nice and even. Push it all together, and there you have it, your next 6-wrap microcoil. Now don't worry about the excess stuff. It is not a big deal if you have a lot of overhanging lead. It's not the worst thing that can happen to you, trust me. And it's good to have extra, because it's when you have extra, you have more to play around with in case for some reason your coil breaks and you don't have the patience to cut another set of wire. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our negative post, put it through that, and because this side is smaller, it'll be easier to thread through this one. So now we've got our 2 coils. I'm going to come in here with my screwdriver now and use it to guide my coil into place. There we go. Now we want it to be in the same position as the other coil, if we can help it. Where did I put my Allen wrench? Always losing that thing. So now I can come in here with my Allen wrench and screw this little boy down. There we go. Don't worry about moving the coil around right now. It's not your biggest priority. You can adjust everything you need once you get the distance you need. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my thumb here to position the coil at the distance I want. I'm going to give it just a teeny bit more distance on that end. There we go. Okay. Now we can tighten that right on down. Do the same with the other end after I readjust. Just double checking my spacing. There we go. Alright. Now that I think I got that spacing nice and evenly set, we can take our coil and begin tightening it down before final adjustments are made. And of course they are just about right over the airflow. So I can come in here and do my final adjustments. There we go. Make sure that she's even. There we go. Easy peasy, what a sleazy. Perfect. Alright, so now I can come in here with my snips and trim them down really close to the actual piece. There we go. That's one. And then finally, there we go. Alright guys, let's see what she's reading at. Hold up a sec. 0.3 ohms. Perfect. Alright guys, let's get this thing wicked up and juiced up and ready to go. So we're going to take our organic Japanese cotton. I'm just going to fluff it into a nice straight thin piece here. Tight as I can get it, and then thread it through. Okay, let's try and get my screwdriver in here so I can hold the coil in place while I'm pulling the cotton through, because that's the last thing you want, is to move your coil out of place, because once you get the cotton going through, you can't reposition your coil. Oh, too much. Pulled it through a little too far. Done that too many times. There we go. Okay. So now that we've got that all done, we can do our little trip and trim. Pull that right off. Pull this off. There we go. Now we'll do the other side. We'll do the fluffing last, of course. So we'll take this, fluff it out into a nice line. Kind of pull that right off. There we go. Thread this on through. Give it a nice pulley pull. Make sure that she comes on through nice and snug. There we go. Now that I've done that, final snip. Make sure it's even as possible with the opposite cotton piece. There we go. Alright guys, so we've got our 0.3 ohm build, and it's an even 0.3 ohm, so I'm pretty happy with that. So let's get into tucking our cotton down, fluff out those end pieces, make sure they're nice and fluffy. Don't even hesitate with the fluff game. Always fluff your cotton out. It doesn't matter who you are, always fluff it. If you are doing it, if you are building with an RDA, always fluff your cotton. I don't care who you are. No good RDA has ever been made without fluffing your cotton before you drip on it. So we've got a lot of airflow here. No signs of overhang, which is very good. I'm going to make sure it's nice and light and tucked in. And now we're going to wick it up. So we've got this reading at a 0.30 ohm. Hello, hello iJoy. Hello iJoy. Hello iJoy. Hold up. Hello iJoy. Unlock the device. Auto watt. Auto watt. Guess it's already at auto wattage. So I'm going to fill up this juice well real quick. Get it all over those coils and cotton. Now the key to this one is dripping in the center. You won't be dripping directly on your coils when you're dripping on this one, because that'll lead to leakage and overhang and a lot of problems. So just stick to dripping in the center, guys, or on the sides. Do not drip directly on your coils with this one. Now the reason I'm doing it on this right now is because I want to just get that cotton all saturated real quick, and I don't want to wait for it to do anything else. So I'm just going to wait a few seconds. Now it should be ready to pulse. Oh yeah, look at that. Alright guys, we're ready to bring it back down from the down and dirty section. I'll put my my stand back and we'll bring it down. Alright guys, so we are back with from my review of the down and dirty of the RDA rebuild, and we're going to put the cap and everything on it and get it ready to go. So this has two airflows. We have a bottom airflow and a top airflow right at the top by my finger there. So we're going to start by setting this RDA right on, cap right on top. Don't worry about that. Alright, next up, I'm going to turn my airflow so it's mostly off on the top. Right about there. There we go. And then finally the drip tip. Okay, she's ready to go, guys. Let's try it out. 45 watts, gosh darn. Not bad at all. She's got a good drip set on her, so I'm pretty happy about that. Five small drops ought to get that going nice and strong. Holy motinoli. Now that's some good cloudage coming off that. I really didn't think I'd be able to get it going as good as I had before. But that's some good cloudage right there. I'm pretty happy with that. At only 45 watts too. Dang. Okay, I'm going to set this all the way up to 250. 235 so I can see just what the auto watt is. I think it is 45, but let's see what happens. Hello iJoy. Auto watt. Yeah, no, it's 50 watts. Dang. No wonder it's not running properly. Hold up. Alright guys, so that about finishes it up for this rebuild of the Victory RDA. I'm really happy with it. It might become one of my top drippers for right now. The clouds off it are insane. I'm loving it. Let's put a couple more drops in there and get her going. Hope I'm not getting any down the sides there. Hold up. That was a bad flavor. Hold up. That was a little odd. Flavor was just a little bit off for a second there. Not bad. I don't think I burnt anything. Must be the flavor. I don't know. I really don't know, actually. Some excess juice on the side of this thing. Alright, guys, so that about wraps it up for this installment. I was really happy I was able to do this for you guys. As always, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm just cleaning up the table here. But be sure to like and subscribe, and come back every day for more flavors and reviews on different tanks, mods, and more. And I'll be happy to do much more as soon as possible. Might have a secondary company coming in, the Happy Hippie, which seemed pretty interested in my reviews, so they might do that for me as well. But definitely can't wait, guys. So be sure to check your updates and ring that notification bell for all updates on this and other great videos. But until then, all we can say is that I'm your host, Michael Cobb, and these have been the Visual Vapor Reviews. Peace, guys. Stay sexy, because you know that smoking is dead and vaping is the way of the future. So I'll see you around.